Maharaj Association. I joined ISKCON about 40 years ago, and I entered the sannyas ashram in 2009, which is 12 years ago. So we shall read from Srimad Bhagavata. Repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 2, entitled Divinity and Divine Service, text number 17. The verses on the board, if you can see it, and you can repeat after me. Shivata Swakata Krishna Punyashravana Kirtana Vidyantasto Abhadrani Vedavati Sari Satam. And you can repeat the translation of Srila Prabhupada to me. Shri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, Super Soul, in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed and urged to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtues when properly heard and checked. In the purport by His Divine Graces, Sri Bhakti Swami, Srila Prabhupada ki. The messages of the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, are no different from Him. Whenever, therefore, offenseless hearing and glorification of God are undertaken, it is to be understood that Lord Krishna is present there in the form of transcendental sound, which is as powerful as the Lord Horseman. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his Shastakam declares clearly that the holy name of the Lord has all the potencies of the Lord, and that He has endowed His innumerable names with the same potency. There is no rigid fixture of time, and anyone can chant the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare. There is no rigid fixture of time, and anyone can chant the holy name with attention and reverence at his convenience. The Lord is so kind to us that He can be present before us personally in the form of transcendental sound. But unfortunately, we have no taste for hearing and glorifying the Lord's name and activities. We have already discussed developing a taste for hearing, and chanting the holy sound. It is done through the medium of service to the pure devotee of the Lord. The Lord is reciprocally respondent to his devotees. When he sees that a devotee is completely sincere in getting admittance to the transcendental service of the Lord, and has thus become eager to hear about him, the Lord acts from within the devotee in such a way that the devotee may easily go back to him. The Lord is more anxious to take us back into his kingdom than we can desire. Most of us do not desire at all to go back to God. Only a very few men and women want to go back to God. But anyone who desires to go back to God, Sri Krishna knows in all his steps. One cannot enter into the kingdom of God unless one is perfectly clear of all sins. The material sins are products of our desires. The Lord is over material nature. It is very difficult to get rid of such desires. Women and wealth are very difficult problems for the devotee making progress on the path back to God. Many stalwarts in the devotional line fell victims to his allurements and thus retreated from the path of liberation. But when one is helped by the Lord himself, the whole process becomes as easy as anything by the divine grace of the Lord. To become restless in the contact of women, or for men to become restless in the contact, for women to become restless in the contact of men and wealth is not an astonishment, because every living being is associated with such things from remote time, practically immemorial. And it takes time to recover from this foreign nature. But if one is engaged in hearing the glories of the Lord, gradually he realizes his real position. By the grace of God, such a devotee gets sufficient strength to defend himself from the state of disturbances, and gradually all the disturbing elements are eliminated from his mind. Om Agyana Atimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Tadamayam Tadati Svapadantikam Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavabhyo Namo Namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada makes a statement here. One cannot enter into the kingdom of God unless one is perfectly cleared
of all sins. Bring me a Bhagavad Gita. Once Srila Prabhupada was giving a lecture. He was on the Vyasa. So to go onto the Vyasa, Prabhupada had to take two steps, one step and another step. And then he sits on the Vyasa and he gave a lecture. And in the lecture, he was making the same point. Unless one is perfectly pure or cleared of all sins on the basis of reactions to those sins, then one can enter Goloka Vrindavan. So when Srila Prabhupada lifted his head up and he looked at the audience, his disciples, and he saw that all of them had their heads down. Because it is not possible. It is not possible to be 108% pure and then go back home, back to Golo. Not possible. So therefore they all had their head down. And Prabhupada emphasized time and again, you have to be completely pure to associate with the Supreme Pure, Radha Krishna. They had their heads down. So Srila Prabhupada got off the Vyasa and he took the highest step. And then he said, okay, 90% pure. So then the heads came up a little bit. They said, not with full enthusiasm, they said, Jai Prabhupada. Not with full enthusiasm. Okay. Then Prabhupada took the next step. And then the third one is coming into the ground. Next step. Then Prabhupada said, okay, 85% pure. So then their heads came up a little bit. Jai Prabhupada. Still not possible. Then Prabhupada came onto the ground and he took his chadar and he did like that. And while he was walking, he looked at the devotees. Okay, this is the last. 75% pure. And then they were enthusiastic. Jai Srila Prabhupada. So some days went past and Srila Prabhupada was in his quarters. So one of the leading devotees asked Srila Prabhupada, how you do this? Come sit this side. Take the chair for him. But put it behind this Mataji's, behind here. Prabhu, you also come with the chair, please. Yeah. Prabhu, you also come with the chair so I can see you. Yeah, sit. Put the chair there for Prabhu, next to him. No, Prabhu, I want to see you. I want to get your darshan. Now I can get the darshan. Only you. Yeah, okay. So, Srila Prabhupada made an adjustment. Krishna says, Sarva Daman Parichagya Mamekam Sarana Praja Aham Tvam Sarva Papabeyo Mokshayasya Mimasacha. Krishna says, first surrender 108%, then I will protect you. Do not fear. Then you become free or liberated. So Krishna is giving that condition, same thing. So how did Prabhupada make the adjustment? 75% pure. You can still go back. So some days later in Srila Prabhupada's quarters, Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki. So some days later in Srila Prabhupada's quarters, can somebody get a chair for Bhakti Vinod and Prabhu and put it in the back, please? One of the chairs that's empty. Prabhu, you can do it. So you can sit there. Yeah. Bhakti Vinod Prabhu, when you finish, there's a chair for you, right? So some days later in Srila Prabhupada's quarters, one of the senior devotees, they heard this. Everyone heard this in the class, after the class. Yeah. Then Srila Prabhupada was asked by the devotee, Srila Prabhupada, how is it this is beyond dharma? It's beyond scriptural injunctions. And Prabhupada himself is saying in the purport to be 100% pure. How did you make this adjustment? How can you do it? Like that. So Srila Prabhupada said that my Guru Maharaj, which means Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he said that he had one key. And there's only one key for the back door to Golok Vrindavan. To be 100% pure, then you get your visa to go through the front door. And he said, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta only had one key for the back door. And he gave me that key. So he'll open the back door to Golok Vrindavan. So we are most fortunate to be in the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, which Srila Prabhupada is the founder Acharya of this movement. Srila Prabhupada ki. Now, the purport is also speaking about the holy name. Very nice purport about the holy name. Now, the pujari is doing arti there. Can you see? For the pujari to go and directly worship Radha Krishna or Jagannath Baladev and Subhadra, the pujari, before he goes onto the altar, he has to do many things, right? Like what? First he has to take bath, put on fresh cloth, then prepare the paraphernalia for arti. Before that, do the bhoga offering. And he has to leave his room or home and come to the altar. Getting it? But when one chants, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Do you have to do any preparation? You only have to prepare one thing, your hearing, which I discussed in previous classes. You have to prepare to hear. But do you have to put on fresh cloth and take a bath and prepare paraphernalia? Is anything there like that? Yes. So in other words, when you worship the deity, the form of Radha, Krishna, Jagannath, Bala, Subhadra, you have to go to them. See? But when you chant the holy name comes to you. So who is more merciful? The Hare Krishna Maha Mantra or the forms of the Lord, Archa Vigraha? Who is more merciful? Holy name. There's no rules and regulations. Nam Akari Bahudan Nija Sarva Saktis Tatra Pita Niyamita Smaranena Kalaha. There's no hard and fast rules. So now I'm about to ask a question. If the holy name is more merciful than the forms of Radha and Krishna, who are none different from the holy name, who is more merciful than the holy name? Anyone? Any of the Amas, Vaishnavis? Who is more merciful than the holy name? Yes, he has his hand up straight. Yes, yes.
Guruji, Lord Maharaj, Lord Sachinandan, who gave the holy name.
He is not different from Krishna. Yes, Mataji, scream, scream, say, Hare Krishna, say. Louder. Give her the microphone. Who is more merciful than the holy name?
Spiritual master is more merciful than the holy name.
What is your name?
I'm Bindu.
Bindu. Okay. Who gave you the holy name first? Who introduced you to the holy name? Which person? Which devotee?
I read Krishna book and I started.
And then you started associating with
Yes,
devotees.
yes.
So which devotee told you to chant?
I don't remember, Maharaj. I don't remember.
But there must be some devotee, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. If you don't remember. Yes. So who is more merciful than the holy name? Bindu?
The devotee who.
The devotees.
Who asked us to.
Who? Yes. Because the holy name is not like an akashvani. It comes from the sky into you. Not like that. So the holy name is more merciful than the forms of the Lord, who are none different from the holy name. But the chanter of the holy name, which is the devotee, is more merciful than the holy name. Just like this. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare. So you have chanted the holy name. So when you chant the holy name, then others may hear the holy name and also chant the holy name. So it is coming forth from the devotee who is more merciful than the holy name. Are we okay? Yeah. Now, coming back to the first point, why is Srila Prabhupada so compassionate? Why is Srila Prabhupada so much compassionate? So there's a group of verses in the Bhagavad Gita from chapter 13 entitled Nature, the Enjoyer and Consciousness. And the group of verses that are together are text 8 to 12. So one of the Sanskrit lines there in one verse is called Acharya Upasanam. So this word Acharya Upasanam nice, put it on the board. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. See, Acharya Upasanam Socham. You got it? So this word Acharya Upasanam, in the translation, it says approaching a bona fide spiritual master. We okay so far? Hare Krishna. Thank you. Now, in the purport of approaching a bona fide spiritual master, if you can go to the purport on the screen, the paragraph starts with the word simplicity means that without diplomacy, one should be so straightforward that he can disclose the real truth even to an enemy. Go to that paragraph. We got it? Everyone on the screen. Now I'm reading about Acharya Upasanam after this sentence. Okay? Very important. As for acceptance of the spiritual master, that is essential because without the instruction of a bona fide spiritual master, one cannot progress in the spiritual science. One should approach the spiritual master with all humility and offer him all services so that he will be pleased to bestow his blessings upon the disciple. Now, because a bona fide spiritual master is a representative of Krishna, if he bestows any blessings upon his disciple, that will make the disciple immediately advance without the disciples following the regulative principles. How can Srila Prabhupada make such an adjustment? And then there's a full stop. Then it says, or, it's another sentence, not the same. Or, the regulative principle will be easier for one who has served a spiritual master without reservation. Take it to the previous sentence. See? One line down. Take it down. No. Up, one line up. One line up, one line up, one line. See? Because a bona fide spiritual master is a representative of Krishna, if he bestows any blessings upon his disciple, that will make the disciple immediately advance without the disciples following the regulative principles. Even if you're struggling to follow the regulative principles, even if you're struggling to chant your japa, simply become attached to someone who is pure. Just one devotee. It may not necessarily be your initiating guru. It may be a devotee who knows you. Who knows you? And when you become weak spiritually, that devotee will be there for you. Just become attached to just one devotee who's steady and fixed in Krishna consciousness. That devotee will save you, even in your darkest hour or even at the moment of death. Just one devotee become attached. What we speak of becoming attached to many devotees who are pure. We okay? Now go to Nectar of Instruction, purport, text 5. While he's doing that, I can take one question. Questions? Anybody has question?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Maharaj,
What's your name?
my name is Sagar.
I know.
Sagar.
And Gunamai. And another Sagar. Sagar. Wide ocean. Sagar. Text 5. Nectar of Instruction, text 5, in English. Prabhu, that's not text 5, that's text number 6. That's text 5, right? Now, get me a book. Nectar of Instruction. Sagar, tell us your wide question.
Maharaj, just means I wanted to ask, you had mentioned get attached to a devotee. So means
attachment means serving the devotee. You may not get chance to serve Shiksha and Diksha gurus or the deity, but attached to somebody locally, so who's pure. It's very important. Like a Shiksha guru, local, in the same community of devotees you stay in. What's your question?
Yes, Maharaj, means how to develop the attachment to a devotee. By serving him?
Yeah, by serving that particular devotee. First, you have to develop relationship and faith. And you can develop relationship and faith by inquiring from the devotee about how to practice and how to make spiritual advancement in Krishna consciousness. You with me? Clear? Yeah. And if you become close, then the devotee may give you some service, because an advanced devotee must accept service also as a service. You understand? So one of the services you can do for the devotee is clean his room, wash the clothes, cook some bhoga and offer as prasad. It's on the board out of many such Vaishnavas. Yeah. Sagar, now give him microphone. I make it as practical as possible. I can't give a principle, I'll give a practicality. Sagar, do you know any devotee that you feel is fixed in Krishna consciousness in Seshadripuram?
Yes.
Name one.
He's sitting in front of
What's his name?
Vijay Prabhu.
Vijay Prabhu. So you see that, right? So now I'm going to explain a principle. Explain a principle. Purity is the force, means to have the potency to see purity in others, not in yourself. Who can repeat what I said? Yes, repeat.
Purity is the force, means to have the potency to see purity in others, not in yourself.
Yes. So Sagar is seeing purity in Vijay, right? Vijay. Yeah. So he won't accept service from you because he's a miser. He's a kripana. But it is our duty to accept service as a service. Others, how will others advance? Prabhu, make sure you wash his clothes without him knowing. Without him knowing you're washing his clothes. Right? You know how to do it, right? And if you find, why you wash my clothes? Prabhu, already washed. What's his problem? Simple act like that. Simple thing. Krishna consciousness is very simple. Okay? So now in the nectar of instruction. Book. Okay, I can read. Out of many such Vaishnavas, one may be found to be very seriously engaged in the service of the Lord and strictly following all the regulative principles, chanting the prescribed number of rounds on japa beads, and always thinking of how to expand the Krishna consciousness movement. Such a Vaishnava should be accepted as an Uttama Adhikari, a highly advanced devotee, and his association should always be sought. Go previous. Go. Slowly. Out of many such Vaishnavas, one may be found. Now, these words are very important. So it's not like that, Bhakti Brhat, Bhagavata Swami, you just read that. Prabhu, that's me. You see, Prabhupada is describing me. Can you see? I'm an Uttama Adhikari. You found me. Can you see? It's not like that. It's not like that. Prabhupada says, out of many such Vaishnavas, one may be found that you will find that in somebody else. You will not find it in yourself. You will find it in somebody else. Because an Uttama Adhikari does not know he or she is an Uttama Adhikari others may see it in them. Therefore, purity is the first means to have the potency to see purity in others. Now let's go. One may be seriously, one may be found. You find it in somebody else, not in yourself. Very clear. Strictly following the principles, chanting prescribed number of rounds and japa beats, and always thinking of how to expand the Krishna conscious movement. Such a Vaishnava should be accepted by you in relation to others. As an Uttamadhikari, and one should associate with such a person. Now the beauty of Srila Prabhupada's practicality is that you can find thousands of Uttamadhikaris in ISKCON. They fit that description. Okay? Now, don't worry about South Bangalore or HBR layout and so forth. Let's focus on Seshadripuram. Focus on Seshadripuram. Now you have a nice, vast congregational membership of devotees here, including congregation, including devotees. Diksha gurus, not your Diksha guru. Can you find like that in Seshadripuram? Maybe not one, maybe not two, maybe more, based on faith and relationship. Can you find somebody like that? Go again before. Somebody who is very seriously engaged, strictly following the principles, chanting prescribed number of rounds, and always thinking of how to expand the Krishna consciousness movement. Can you find somebody like that? Yes. How many of you know of somebody like that? Raise your hand. Wow. Accept yourself, eh? How many of you can find some? Raise your hand, raise your hand, raise your hand. Where's the microphone? Amma, right there in the back, next to the Amma who's sitting on the chair with the yellow. Hey, you raised it. Give microphone to her. Don't give me 5 names, give me one name. It can be a Mataji, Prabhu, someone younger than you, no problem, which fits that description.
Radha Krishna Prabhu.
Rao?
Radha Krishna Prabhu.
Radha Krishna Prabhu. See? But Radha Krishna Prabhu, where is he? Stand up. Mataji, what's your name?
Vrinda Gopi.
Vrinda Gopi. So Radha Krishna Prabhu. So Radha Krishna Prabhu, can you say loud? Vrinda Devi Gopi. Her name is Vrinda Devi Gopi. So say, my dear Vrinda Gopi, say. I know who she is. Say, microphone on. You still have microphone, right?
Yes.
Say. I told you 2 microphones. I told Radha Krishna Prabhu 2 microphones. Yes. Say. It's there. Mataji, keep microphone. Say, my dear Vrinda Devi.
My dear Vrinda Gopi Devi.
According to this, say, at last you recognize my position. See, he cannot say that. He cannot say that because an Uttamadhikari does not know he or she is an Uttamadhikari. Others may recognize him. Maharaji, Vrinda Devi, Vrinda Gopi.
Yes, Maharaj.
Now you want new sari, you glorified it. Okay, microphone somewhere here. Who wants to tell us a name that fits this description that you know very well, you have faith and relationship with? Raise your hand. Radha Krishna, where's the microphone? Give it to this Prabhu. What's your name?
Srinivas Chaitanya Das. Srinivas Chaitanya Das.
Srinath Chaitanya.
Srinivas
Chaitanya. So give me one. There may be more names. Give me one name.
Our temple president.
What's his name?
Name I don't know.
Anukul Keshav. Prabhu.
Anukul Keshav Prabhu.
Yeah, but if you're recognizing an Uttama, know the name at least. You see, Srinivas, what? Srinivas?
Chaitanya Das.
Srinivas Chaitanya. You must not have a relationship with the Pope, temple president. You must have a relationship with the person, Anukul Keshav Prabhu. You got it? That's what we're talking about. But nice you said that, so we learn from him. Don't have relationship with post.
But Maharaj, you asked
1 minute.
why
No, you can't speak now. You recognize yourself automatically.
No.
I won't give you microphone.
I'm not discouraged.
It's okay. One more person here. Brenda Gopi, you must pass the microphone to somebody else who wants to say their name. One more person. Yes, Prabhu, give microphone. What's your name?
Nagendra Nitai Das. Nagendra Nitai Das.
Nagendra Nitai Prabhu. So who fits this description for you? You know well. You take shelter of them. You like the association. Who?
Asim Shamadas.
Who?
Asim Shamadas.
Asim Sham. Where is he?
He is not here, Prabhu.
But he belongs to Seshadripuram.
Yes, Prabhu.
Nice. You understand now? We good? Mataji, who got the microphone? Your name again?
Vijay Lakshmi.
Vijay Lakshmi. So which Mataji you recognize that fits the description, always likes to preach? Who?
Rasika Sakhi Mataji.
Where's Rasika Sakhi? Rasika Sakhi. Raise your hand. You accept it. Of course, naturally, you don't recognize it in yourself. Others must see it in you. Nice. Very nice. See? Like that, there's so many Uttama Adhikaris we are living with day to day. This is the beauty of Srila Prabhupada's ISKCON. This is the beauty of the process he's given us. It's right there. It's right there. It's proof. So like that Sagar, you should recognize and serve such devotees. That okay, Sagar? Right? One is only Vijay, there may be others also. Yeah. So if you get attached to one such person who knows you well, who you take shelter in, who you tell your problems to, and you must tell them also when you're not chanting your rounds, they'll help you. They will. I mean, difficult. They didn't say, they will help you. Become attached to such a person. Become attached to such a person. Good. So Vrinda Gopi, she's very lucky she's living with the person. Become attached. Very, very important. That's what Prabhupada is meaning here. That those devotees who served him in the Bhagavad Gita purport, but they no more are practicing nicely, Prabhupada never forgets their service. And he will come back for them. He will never forget. Okay, so now we get to the second part of our program. Bring one more. The reason why I came slightly late, not very late, is because of this book. His book is titled, I'll Build You a Temple, the Juhu Story. I already sent some advance copies. I gave an advance copy to Anukul Keshav as a gift some months ago, right? Yes, like that. So now, we're going to discuss this book a little bit. What? My bag. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. This book took well over 25 years to compile, print, and publish by His Holiness Giriraj Swami. And Srila Prabhupada says in the back of the book, on the back cover of the book, it was a good fight. Someone should write a book about it. It is worth writing. History. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Then His Holiness Radhanath Swami has written a foreword, and an excerpt of the foreword goes like this. I'll Build You a Temple transports us into one of the great events of our time. Giriraj Swami gives us personal witness into the life of Srila Prabhupada at a time when Prabhupada faced insurmountable odds at every step. The story reveals Prabhupada's unwavering faith, indomitable courage, and profound humility. I'll Build You a Temple is a contemporary narration that shares the emotions, excitement, and message of sacred texts such as Ramayana, Mahabharata, Srimad Bhagavatam, and Bhagavad Gita, whose conclusive teachings are revealed through the lives of great souls such as Srila Prabhupada, who battle and ultimately vanquish powerful enemies against seemingly insurmountable odds. Srila Prabhupada said that his project in Bombay was his heart. So I have read well this book, not once, but more than once. This book is ISKCON's Mahabharata. ISKCON's Mahabharata. The Mahabharata is nothing compared to what's in this book. You may have heard of Sakuni Mama. You may have heard of Duryodhana and Dushashan. They are nothing compared to the demons in this book. Oh yes. So I'll give you one pastime in this book. Mr. N was Mr. Naya, the best of the demons in this book. He took the down payment money for the land and he wanted to cheat Srila Prabhupada and the devotees and take the land back. So finally, after much struggle and so forth and negotiations of demanding more money and so forth like that, Mr. N told Giriraj Swami, that time Giriraj Das Brahmachari is the president of ISKCON Juhu, said, look, you bring your lawyer and I bring my lawyer, we'll settle that the land is yours. And don't come with anyone else, come alone. So Giriraj Swami said, yes, we will meet at your lawyer's office with my lawyer. Fine. And Mr. N said, don't worry, I'll send my car. But I'm giving a little bit detail which is not in the book. In the book, it's more of a brief. Although the book will come to like 2-3 volumes. So, Mr. N brought his car. And in the front seat of the car, the driver is there, the regular driver, he has his own car. Front seat there is Mr. N's heavy-sized gunda. And he has camera. So Mr. N opened the door on the back passenger seat, and he said, Girat Swami, you can get in. Simultaneously, the Gunda came the other side and opened the other door, and Mr. N sat in the car, and on the other side, the Gunda pushed a high-class prostitute inside the car. So Girat Swami is sitting between Mr. N and the prostitute. Even Duryodhan would not do this. And the front man in the front seat, big one, taking photographs. And Girat Swami is only 22 years old. And he comes from one of the wealthiest families in America. And what the prostitute was doing, taking a hand and putting in Girat Swami's, it's like his body below the waist. Mr. N was worse than an animal. You understand? But he never budged. He's American, he's 22 years young. So that Mr. N realized. And Girat Swami says that if I gave in, because the man is taking photographs, but he knows the photographs will show, that he's not giving in. Can you imagine such a man sitting next to Girat Swami and this prostitute, such a low-class man? Is worse than the disrobing of Draupadi. Draupadi was never disrobed. And you read Giriraj Swami's realizations in two places. He said he only thought of Srila Prabhupada. If I let Srila Prabhupada down, his whole mission would be finished, because if the leader is down, everything is down. He gets the land back. This is just called Mahabharata. Yes. And they had so much struggle to get the land eventually they wanted to break down the temple on the head of Shishi Radha Rasa Bihari. It was a makeshift temporary wooden iron temple with thatched roofs on the side and chatai huts, chatai walls and so on. The local municipality was a Gunda too. They wanted to break it down because they thought it's an illegal structure. Imagine in the whole of India, nobody breaks a temple down where there's deity, right? But they did it to ISKCON. And they got the court order from a judge to demolish the temple, demolish the deities. And one big-bodied Mataji, her name is Maitahili. She's a little broad, She stood in front of the door of the deities. But these gundas of the local municipal council, these gundas, they pulled her hair. Nobody pulls a woman's hair. And then the court gave until Monday to demolish the temple. So there was no court hearing Saturday and Sunday. So they rebuilt the temple in Saturday and Sunday. Monday comes, you go to court. Why you rebuilt the temple? Radha Rasa Bihari is in the shed. Finally, desperately, one Indian-bodied devotee was about to join. He phoned Bal Thackeray. You know Bal Thackeray? Chief said, he was a chief minister there. He said, how can they do this to a Hindu temple? Bal Thackeray said, they're doing that? Okay. One phone call from Baltakari. Everyone down the line cooperated. And that's how we got the land. Then it was even more difficult to get the no objection certificate to build the temple. That was the biggest struggle. So eventually, His Holiness Giriraj Swami, together with His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami, that time he was Grihastha. Gopal Krishna Prabhu and Giriraj Swami was Brahmachari. Somehow, without appointment, they went into the Chief Minister's office. And that time he was C.B. Chavan of the Congress Party of Maharaj. So they walked in. It's in the book, but I'm giving you some detail. They walked into the Chief Minister's office. Finally, they went through the security, this, that. They saw they were sadhus, one wearing saffron, one wearing white. Okay, get it. Finally, they came to the private secretary of C.B. Chavan. Now, there's only one more door to go. Then into the office of C.B. Chavan. Private secretary said, no way. I cannot allow you. You didn't have an appointment. How did you come this far anyway? They said, if you came this far, are you asking us? We already. So they were praying. So finally, the secretary had to go to washroom or something, and he wasn't looking. So Gopal Krishna Maharaj, that time Gopal Krishna Prabhu said, let's do it Indian way. When he was not watching the two of Giriraj Swami said, Giriraj Das Brahmachari said, no, we are cultured people, we can't do this like this, proper. No, we in India. Let's do it Indian way. While he was not looking, the secretary, not looking, they opened the door of the chief minister and burst in. And normally when you do that, the chief minister will call the security, throw them out. C.B. Chavan, he saw that one brahmachari, saffron club, Maharajji and Prabhu, oh, sadhus have come. How am I serving you? And the secretary, So they explained the whole problem. C.B. Chavan said, don't worry, I will help you to get your no objection certificate and you can start your construction. Prabhupada was so pleased to hear what Gopal Krishna Maharaj did. He pushed the door and went in, Indian style. This book also tells you how His Holiness Radhanath Swami joined ISKCON at the Cross Maidan Festival in downtown Mumbai. This book tells you how Raghunath Patil, who was coming to the festival every day in downtown Mumbai, taking the books, reading them, and already started chanting Hare Krishna. And his full application letter to join, which was approved by Giriraj Swami as the president to join, is in this book. Raghunath Patil is none other than His Holiness Lokanath Swami. It tells you how he joined. It is the most powerful Prabhupada Leela book on the planet. Historically, 108% perfect. But it's a Mahabharata. If you have any question to ask Srila Prabhupada, he'll answer in this book. Whether it's management, whether it's fundraising, like whether it's developing life membership program, whether it's festivals, whether it's building a temple, whether how to deal with politicians and how not to deal with them, it's here. There's even a black and white photo of His Holiness Bhanu Swami Maharaj, His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj, and Gurudas Prabhu and Mother Yamuna with Srimati Indira Gandhi. How she fits in here. So Prabhupada was angry. This book, 10,000 copies, was printed 1 year, 4 months ago by BBT, Bhaktivedanta Book Trust, Australia. It's a deluxe edition. Hard cover, dust cover in color, sewn, stitched, 800 pages. white paper, 40 photos inside. Rare photos also, never seen of Srila Prabhupada. So 10,000 copies was printed in 2020, November. It was only released, shipping and all that, in January 2021. Only 1,500 copies for India. The rest, 8,500, was distributed to the rest of the world in 2 months. Out of which 800 was taken by ISKCON Jew. They gave the main donors, life members, and so forth, made some cross also. When you give gift, and you get money. So when I came again to India after the lockdown in September last year, I found there's no books. There's no of this book. I'll build you a temple, the Jewish story. So His Holiness Bhagavata Swami and I decided to reprint. So we reprinted with BBT Australia this year. Paper price went up by 40% in October last year. You all know about paper prices? Oh yeah. So we paid the cost of the book for the reprint 40% more it cost us. From BBT Australia, same book, deluxe edition. No compromise on quality. So we printed another 10,000. But I reserved 7,500 for India. 1,500, no, 2,500 went outside of India because the demand is. We're not reprinting this book again. This quality. Okay. Out of this 7,500, I began distributing this book in India from January 15, mid-January to now. I've already distributed over 5,000 copies. And you get a big point on this book, PPT. See? This book sells in the US for $25 US. It sells in the UK for 18 pounds, 18 British pounds. That is equal to 2,000 rupees. So I use Srila Prabhupada's formula, BBT formula for Africa with BBT Australia. And I forwarded the formula to use it for India. And we distributing this at a sponsorship price, half price. What's half of 2,000 rupees? 1,000. That's a sponsorship price. Now don't buy this book for 1,000 rupees here and go sell it for 2,000 rupees in the US. Good business. Yeah. So now, I did a program yesterday morning in Whitefield. You know that corporate area where IT people stay. So the devotees there were so enthusiastic that they identified a land of 10,000 square feet for 4 crores. So I promoted the book. First, we got book sponsorship for the brahmacharis who was living there. And then we got books sponsored and some people took personal copies so that they can give potential donors who are potential devotees a gift. You don't go and ask a big man who can give you 5 lakhs or 25 lakhs. Can you give me 1,000 rupees for this book? Will you do that? That's stupid. You give him a gift, right? This book. Don't ask him for 1,000 rupees. Tell him to read the book. Let them become interested in who Srila Prabhupada is and how Srila Prabhupada struggled with his disciples to spread and establish Krishna consciousness in India. It speaks in detail about Srila Prabhupada's last days in Vrindavan and in other places. It speaks about Prabhupada's visit even to Madras, Chennai, in this book. So we are requesting the devotees of the congregation to sponsor a book which the fundraising team can give to potential people as a gift. And after 2 or 3 weeks, how's the book? Nice. Now we're want to complete our temple upstairs here in 3rd floor, right? 3rd floor. And Madhusudan Hariprabhu told me, because now he's gone for a few days out of the country, he'll be back tomorrow evening. He told me it will cost at least 5 crores to complete that 3rd floor for the deities, altar, and so forth. Yes or no? At least 5 crores. Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki. Now let's help ourselves to give this as a gift, sponsored gift from you, sponsored, to potential devotees and donors to get that 5 crores. Give them a gift first. Don't ask for any money. And you'll see the money will come. Because you're giving them association of Srila Prabhupada, and you're giving them association of Srila Prabhupada's disciple who struggled. His Holiness Jayapataka Swami writes something in the epilogue of the book, of how he sees this whole thing. Toward the end of the book, in the epilogue, he begins the epilogue. He writes something there also. So please help. Please help. Now, that Whitefield temple, we got a total of 230 books sponsored as well as taken personally for the project. This morning I was in South, what do you call that? ICC temple. That's why I came a little late, not very late. They got 347 books. The temple benefits because the temple gets money from each book, couple of 100 rupees. We promote the book and we give the money to the temple. Plus, they're getting the book that you sponsored to give the donors, which they don't pay for, 1,000 rupees a year. We okay so far? Good. So let's see you either match ICC or better it. They did 347. We're looking for 350 here. And let's get the temple room completed to attract 4 or 5 crores. By just giving gifts out and then money pours in. Remember, Lakshmi Devi follows Srila Prabhupada. If you give them the association with Srila Prabhupada, how he struggled, this is a Mahabharata. They'll read it. So let's give the microphone to Anukul Keshav Prabhu. He's putting his hand up. He wants to share his wisdom.
I want to say, because if you remember Maharaj, when you...
One minute. Turn the speaker, there you go. Turn the speaker towards this side so you can speak. Now speak. Now speak.
Hare Krishna. Maharaj, if you remember that last time when you was in Bangalore,
8 years ago.
Yeah, when you get seminar.
And people say I still look the same.
So
Krishna's mercy.
that time, I think we were not having.
And I'm over 60 years old. 62 to be exact. Yes, the body is slowing down. Yes, Anukul.
So we were not having, I think, land that time.
Yes, I remember.
And you started the launching of the collection that in years after your seminar.
I remember that.
Yes, and that has inspired our devotees. We got the land and we have built this beautiful temple for Srila.
Yeah, there's a lot of progress.
And again, you are just encouraging us to complete with the going up 3rd floor. Thank you, Maharaj.
We will do it because we have Srila Prabhupada and the whole Guru Parampara behind us. We will do it. You just have to have the Jitavata determination. So to begin that inspiration, to let the funds flow in, that 4 or 5 crores, let's sponsor these books, give it to well-wishers, give it to previous donors who gave already for the temple. There's like a list of 64 names, plus there's an added list today of another 32 names. Another 53 names. So total of 64 but 53. We want to give books to, I'll give you some names. See, I have 64 names of people other than the congregation who have already contributed to this project. And they're very happy that the project is making progress. So many buildings and so forth. This is apart from those who bought some apartments and from there we made some money and so forth. We're talking about actually 5 crores for the 3rd floor, the temple room. So I'll give you some names. Somebody's name is Gaurav Srivatsa. Somebody's name is Anshuma, Shiva Kumar Soni, Shubha, Aparna Mataji, Dr. Saravanam, like that, Kiridari Gopal. Ravi Shankar has Naveen something. So there's another 53 names. And then the youth preaching easy donors, there's 14 names. So the total, 64 plus 53 is how many? 117 plus 14 plus there was 12 outstanding for the voice preaching for the students. How much is that? At least 143 books should be sponsored. If not, you can take books on your own that you sponsor and give others that you like. Plus, you can take your own personal copies. Nice? Who's the first one going to set the standard? Come on. Who'd like to sponsor some books? Likes to take some of your own sponsored books, 1 or 2, and give? And would like to also sponsor books and leave with the temple so that they can give prospective donors and new people. Oh, that's nice. Raise your hand, raise your hand. You already took Prabhu before? No. First time. Stand up. Venkatesh, right? My first driver. Stand up. Mataji, stand up. Please come to the front. Come this way. Make a passage here behind you. Behind you. Come, Mataji. Come on. Come. Venkatesh, come here. Come here. Bring me the microphone. Everyone, while they're coming, chant. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bring it this side. Open another box too. Come. Venkatesh, please come. Come on. Come. They want family. Come through this side. This side. Yeah. Come on. Give a microphone. Come on. Yeah. By me. Stand by me. Don't be shy. Sannyasi is father of all ashrams. Don't worry. How many books you'd like to sponsor? Plus you're taking a personal copy. Plus you're taking some copies to give your family or friends. Total.
Personal copies I have, Maharaj. I have 8
okay,
copies.
personal, yeah, copy.
I want to sponsor.
How many books you like? Is it like a single figure or a double figure? Like is it like 9 and then 10 is 10? That's double.
I would like to sponsor 10 books.
She's double figure. Speak. 10 books.
10 books.
So I'll give you one more book to give to one of your friends, right? So how many books would that be?
11.
11. So I'll give you the book now. Put down 1 book taken and 10 books for the temple. Let's put your name.
Yashomati Dasi.
Yashomati. Let's chant for Yashomati Mataji. Take photo.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama.
Thank you very much. That's a great start. I'm not sure whether that's the standard for everybody. But even if you take 1 book personally and you can't sponsor 1, that's fine. That's later. Venkatesh, please come. This side. Who's next? Who else likes to help us? Please raise your hand. How many books, Venkatesh?
10 books, Maharaj.
For the temple?
Yes.
And for you personally?
1.
How many is that?
11.
She set the standard. Yasomati, thank you. Okay, Venkatesh is taking 11 books, 10 for the temple and 1 for himself personally. Let's chant for him.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
That's a great start. Prasadam not ready yet, huh? No. Prasadam not ready. We have time. Please help us. And you see, this front cloth is called a bhikshu. You know, Tridandi bhikshu. Tridandi means danda, and bhikshu means a beggar. So we beg you, please help. Let's realize that 5th floor temple. Not another 8 years until I come back. You have to invite me before 8 years to open that 3rd floor, right? Yes. So we need to inspire people to give, lots of money by giving them this gift. It has a gift first. Please help us. Who else likes to help us? Any of the children? Yes, please come. Please come. Prabhu, your hand up. Come to the front. Anyone else? Slowly they coming in. If you like to help, even if it's one book for yourself and one book sponsored, that's good. Everything adds up. Prabhu, come this side. Come. Microphone. What's your good name?
Giridhar Gopal Das.
Giridhar Gopal Prabhu. So declare it boldly. How many books?
So I'll take one book personally and then I'll distribute 4 books, totally 5.
So you are taking 5 books?
Yes.
But you're going to take the other 4 with you? Or
yes.
You want to give the temple?
No, I'll give it to the temple.
So 4 books for the temple and 1 book for yourself personally. Yes. Let's chant for Giridhari Gopal Prabhu. Thank you very much. Thank you. Prabhu, come this side. Come. If you like, please come forward. Even if the children want to sponsor a book and take one home, and then tell Appa to pay. Don't ask Appa now, you come and take it and say pay. What's your name?
Vikram.
Vikram Prabhu. How many books?
4 books to temple and 1 book to
4
myself.
books to temple and 1 book for himself personally. Vikram, how much is that?
5.
5 what?
5 books.
5 books. How much is cost?
5,000.
5,000. Okay. You calculated nice. Let's chant for Vikram.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Please help us. You getting the benefit of attracting crores of rupees to complete that. Because we'll give them as gifts to those who are potential donors. Anyone else likes to help? Amma, come. Just make way for her, please. Anyone else? Let's chant in the meantime. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Please come this way. Come. Give a microphone. Take microphone. So, what's your name? Sumanta Devi Dasi. I know. Forgot the name. Give. How many books?
10 books, and 1 book I already have from you.
I already sent in advance.
Yes, I have 1.
But no, 1 minute. But I'll also give you another book. 9 for the temple and 1 more book. You can give 1 close friend. But potential devotee.
Yes, ma'am.
Not another devotee.
Yes.
Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
10 books in total, 9 for the temple and 1 for her friend, who's a potential devotee. Let's chant for her.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Anyone else likes to help us? Even 1 book, if you're taking personally and you don't have to sponsor any books, you take your book personally today. would like, come. Slowly, come in. Who else? Please come. Mama, come this way. Come. Let's chant for her. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Give microphone. Come close, come here. What's your name?
Nandapriya Padma Devi.
Nandapriya Padma Devi. So how many books?
One for myself and one sponsored.
See, nice. One for herself and one sponsored. Thank you very much. That's wonderful. Give the microphone there. One for herself and one sponsored. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Anyone else? Hungry? Okay, so we can conclude for now. That's not a problem. We'll conclude for now. Still, the books are available whenever you can. If you want your personal copy, you can come and take it whenever you can. Thank you very, very much. Mahaprasade Govinde. Where do they serve prasad? Do they say the prayer there? They say. All right. So you can say the prayer downstairs. Srila Prabhupada ki, Ananta Kodi Vaishnav Vranda ki, Bhagavat Prasadam ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hare